time, a long time, this na day before time. Long time got them lang lang loji, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang lang loji, now you got them bongolo. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. Long time got them jug jug lamp, now you got them electric light. Long time got them jug jug lamp, now you got them electric light. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. Long time got them broad broad bottom, now you got them tight tight straight. Long time got them broad broad bottom, now you got them tight tight straight. Long time got them broad broad bottom, now you got them tight tight straight. Long time got them broad broad bottom, now you got them tight tight straight. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. Long time got them broad broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this na day before time. Long time full lambok it wata, now you got them overhead. Long time full lambok it.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in on to 107.1 FM. It's always a pleasure to be here to share with you what's really happening in Guyana as it relates to politics and development. I am your host, Dinesh Jaiprashad, and I'm privileged once again to be on 107.1. I must say thank you very much for the team, 107.1 team, Mark and team, for affording me the opportunity to be on every Tuesday at 8. Those of you who have the link, please share it with someone so that we can be able to cover more individuals and the message can be spread far and wide. Tonight's program will be very spicy, very interesting, and current as to what really is happening with Guyana. To do that tonight, I have an honorable individual who is no stranger to you, no stranger to Guyana, a Barbician by birth and has been serving in the legal fraternity all his life. Individual who is referred to as a political stalwart in Guyana and a legal mind around the Caribbean. So, Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan, Honorable leader of the Alliance for Change and Member of Parliament for the 12th Parliament, will be joining us tonight for fruitful discussion as it relates to what really is happening in Guyana. So continue to share the link and tag someone so that all of us can be able to know what is happening. There has been a lot happening in region number 6 in Berbice in Guyana, and a lot of individuals not too pleased as to what really is happening at the moment. We know that these things are happening because of the mismanagement of the PVP administration. So tonight's discussion will be very much important. We will go in detail as to what really is happening with Guy Suku and what happened previously, what we did under our administration 2015 to 2020, about the fake promises that was made by the PPP, and now how the people are suffering now at Guy Suku. So that will be our main discussion tonight. Also, we will take some more information on the entire saga of the flood relief. A lot of people complaining about what really happened with the flood relief. So the honorable minister, the honorable member of parliament responsible for shadowing agriculture will do justice for us tonight. There he is.
Oh,
Good night,
thanks
sir.
very much, Pandit Dinesh
Thank you very much.
Jaiprashad. Glad to be here in the program. And
Thank you very much.
I want to say how happy I am to hear that song this time, the long time. I got married to Sita years ago. And it's her aunt that sang that song, Chukwa. And it's unfortunate that we are keeping wake for her father's death. That is Sita's father's death. And that lady would have been there talking, making so much fun. I want to just to let people know that I happen to know her. And she died sometime now. But wonderful, wonderful human being she was. That song, of course, was made very popular and internationalized by Bablan Kanchan, remember?
Yeah.
I think, yes, it is the two of them. But good to hear that song after a long while. I didn't.
So when I started this program, so Mark decided that let's work it out together, and this came out, and it's very much appropriate to the political dynamics that is happening in Guyana and around the world. This time in a long time, people get incensed now. People
Yeah.
literally, listening and asking questions. So I kept that as the theme song for my program every Tuesday night. So
This time a long time, this time a long time, this not there before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this not there before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this not there before time. Long time got them lang lang loji, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang lang loji, now you got them bongolo. This time a long time, this time a long time, this not there before time. This time a long time, this time a long time, this not there before time. Long time.
Yeah, lovely.
So, so thank you very much once again for accepting my invitation to be here tonight. I know that you will bring justice to the ears of our listeners, and with a wealth of knowledge and experience that you possess as it relates to politics in Guyana, and more so the theme for the song this time a long time. I know that people are listening to us, sir. Every program that we have, there are a lot of individuals who are listening to us and making comments more on the positive side. During the programs and after the programs, you're receiving calls, and this is something that we know that making an impact on the lives of a lot of individuals. So thank you, and I know that it has always been a pleasure to have you on my show. So tonight we will touch a bit on Gaisuku as to what really are we seeing happening in Gaisuku. Before we go into the current situation, give us a little update as to what really transpired in Gaisuku prior 2015 and how the PPP knew that Gaisuku was going down and what we did as a coalition to fund Gaisuku for 36 months and then what the PPP is doing now. So if you want to take it by two stage or so, you
Yeah,
can
well,
do that.
thanks, Pandit. It is necessary that in politics we repeat ourselves very many times. Politics is a lot of repetition. I learned that from Chedi Jagan. And he says that sometimes people, especially people who got to go and work hard and struggle it out there, sometimes they then forget what happened some time ago and how they have been affected. So it's always good to repeat it. And in relation to our sugar industry, prior to 2015, we saw the literal deterioration of it under especially the Jagdeo regime. And sugar workers must come around to know that that is the truth. Editorials from Stabrook News, Kaichor, Chronicle, editorials from even other Caribbean newspapers have indicated that sugar industry was going down, down, down all the time, because sugar, as a result of certain matters being taken to the World Trade Organization by Guatemala and Dominica and so on, then had to be purchased from Guyana. Not at the double the world market price, but at the world market price. So whereas we used to get double the world market price for our sugar from England and Europe, after that World Trade Organization decision, we then start getting half of that money. Half. And so it became very unprofitable. And since 2005, we were being told by the European Union that you got to reconfigure this industry. Otherwise, by 2014, in another 10 years, we are going to make sure that, we live in accordance with the WTO rules and all of that. But we're going to help you. And they started giving Jagdeo, he was the president at that time, about 11 million euros every year to rehabilitate, make more efficient, or even to do whatever he found as a better option in relation to these lands and estates and factories. Jagdeo didn't take that money. For 10 years, they gave us that money. He didn't take it and put it into good use, efficientize, let's say, Albion and IFLUT and all of that. He take them and he put them inside at the treasury there to balance the budget and to make himself look good, as if he's a class act when it comes to economics and so on. And the estates and all of them were left, bad. Additionally, he borrowed monies from the IDB to do what is called the Skeldon plant in preparation for what Europe had said that they're going to do after 2014. That is, they're going to come off literally. And the thing cost about 200 million US dollars, and it wasn't producing anything. Apart from those two big facts, you had also a number of experts on sugar telling Jagdeo since 2004 and even before that, and local experts, people who had studied the industry. I remember Ravi Dev and me used to chat at plenty about it. And even some of the GAU workers and GAU leaders, that the next generation of Guyanese cane cutters not going to be as plentiful. They're not going to want to do that kind of hard work. And we got to start preparing them for other kinds of service-oriented work because, of course, it is important that that's the way we go, because sugar doesn't have that bright future. And, of course, just like all the other CARICOM countries that had big sugar industry, Trinidad had that big company that they had then done away with, Barbados, Jamaica, all of them, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and so on. And so we had to start making preparations a long time for that to happen. But it was not, although we got 111 million euros from the European Union to prepare us for that. It didn't happen. 2014 come and the industry start going down, 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 right down. And it was only begging monies from government. Now remember, an industry like that used to send money into the treasury. It used to send money into the treasury after making profits, but now it stopped.
Stop.
And that is why the PPP, I think, closed down Enmore and closed down Diamond, because the sugar sector, they realized too, was not profitable. When we came in, Raj Singh, then the head of the Gaisuko, said that he want about $10 billion for rehabilitate this sector. So we said, what nonsense is that? You were giving the impression just in the 2014 to 2015 campaign period that the sugar industry was doing well.
Doing well, exactly.
Why were you lying? We knock him off, send him back to America. He was getting about 18,000 US dollars a month off the backs of sugar workers. And the industry was dying. We then, and I had a big part to play in this, because Gaisuko, other leading members, then start begging us for money to pay sugar workers. So we had to take money out of the treasury. And do you know, for the first 3 years of our administration, we had to bail out Gaisuko to the tune of $1 billion per month. $1 billion per month.
And this run for 3 years.
Yes, 36 months. We gave them $36 billion. Most of it was just to pay sugar workers.
Okay.
So when PPP said that we don't like sugar workers, it is one of the biggest lies. You know? But because Bharat Jagdeo and them associated with the PPP, and even Gao, who I'm ashamed to say carried through with that lie, made us look bad, because we had to make a choice. If you start giving $1 billion every month to cane cutters and sugar workers and so on, you're going to affect other aspects of your economy. Your public servants wouldn't get raised, your teachers, your nurses, your army, your police, nobody. And remember, these are also hardworking people. And so we had to make a choice that what we're going to do, we're not going to do away with sugar. We're going to right size it. And we're going to keep Albion, we're going to keep IFLOT, and the other one, to the extent of having 3 factories. And we're going to ensure that we start certain other projects which will then redeploy the workers into. And those who don't want to be with Gaisuko, we will then pay them their severance and all of that. And they will take their severance. About 5,000 of them, because of that right sizing, then went. And of course, we gave them their severance pay. Plenty of them received like about 500,000 to about $1.5 million. Some of them get even more because they were long-standing workers and so on. Now, that is what happened. We have to make judgment calls as political leaders when you are there now. But Jagdeo didn't want to make the correct call during that time right up to 2015. They wanted now, literally, that they're going to see how best they're going to do this thing. And they're going to bail out. Well, we had to make a call. And we knew that Skeldon factory was a big white elephant and a dead elephant. And that is why we didn't do anything more, because although the Chinese make it the thing, one set of big repairs, we brought in South Africans, we brought in people from Brazil, and nothing could make nothing work, because it would appear that the wrong people had gotten the contract to make it in the first place. Some Indians from India who didn't know about them kind of thing was supposed to make it. But Jagdeo wanted to give the Chinese. I don't know the reason why. But a lot of people said that there might have been corruption behind the grant by the Gaisuko people to that, and the government at the point in time, to that company. But whatever, the thing collapsed. What it did is that it affected a whole set of private cane farmers, because sugar now not being bought by the Skeldon estate, a whole set of things start happening. And we had to take the blame for that, because, of course, we had to make the right decision. What do you do with a thing that is going to cost so much money? And we said we're going to right size. What the PPP start doing was to demonize us and say we unlike Kuli people. I mean, it's racial. You know, that thing will come back to haunt that same PPP. Yes, when the sugar workers start becoming right thinking. Because the sugar workers too were telling me, I don't want to be picnic and figure cut skin. A woman got to wake up early o'clock morning time, give it food, So I'm going to go cut cane. Me don't want me picnic do that. So we knew that there was going to be a labor shortage in the industry. Yes. And we don't have the soils that is going to mechanize that thing, that sector, that industry. And all of that will cause a lot of capital. And we don't know whether we're going to catch the price in the world market because you could barely break even and so on. So it was not the wisest thing to do. And we decided then, right size. It was not the wisest thing to continue. And that is what we did. When we did that, of course, we had some more monies too to give increases to public servants, policemen, nurses, teachers, them not people too. Oh no, we must only go as Jagdeo. When I was asked to chair the committee, Irfan Ali said, no, you give the sugar workers, Ramjatan, you give the sugar workers. All them policemen apparently wasn't people. All them soldier by and so on wasn't people. Public servants, nurses, teachers, no. Them no matter. Crazy. So that is the nastiness about this PPP administration. Now they said and they promised that we gonna master the art of managing it to get it out of that crisis situation. You know the first thing after they got into government? They come to the first budget, $9 billion. You remember 2020 budget? $9 billion. And then they were taking other monies too to put into. So it was $9+ billion. In 21 budget, this last one was gone. They say 1.5 them go only take. Well, I knew that they were lying because we knew that the thing is a black hole. It's going to demand more money because it ain't got a future, literally, with the kind of thing that they want to do, open back the estates and so on. No, it ain't got no future there. So they're coming now, and I hear Zulfi a couple of weeks ago say, apart from the 1.5 that they asked for in this 2021 budget, they want another $1.6 billion for the latter part of the 4 months of the year, the 4 months of this year, October, November, December, and they made the calls in September. So it's September, October, November, December, the latter part of the year for 4 months. Now, it means then that it is not profitable. And then because of the severe weather pattern changes as a result of climate change and that flooding and the bad management of the flooding and so on, you're not going to get the kind of yields that we used to have a decade and 2 decades ago. But these people are not thinking rationally. They're not thinking universally in the sense of the whole country. Them only want to think about cane cutters, and especially the Barbicians, because it is a base support that blindly supports them. No matter what you say, what you do, it would appear that they are going to go back to them no matter what happens. And reason sometimes do not prevail. And a lot of people criticize us for making the decision. But you know, necessity is the mother of invention. If you don't take them out of this sugar industry, they will always stay and they will have no need for being inventive and going to other employment and so on. And that is the reason why we wanted to force the way out, because we knew that since 2015 that we are going to get money, oil monies, that we're going to start getting by 2020, which we can then do a lot of things for them. But up to now, Jagdeo don't want to touch that set of oil monies to do certain progressive things for them. He wants to change the law about that oil money. And so we are here now today with a lot of disenchantment and disaffection inside of that sugar sector. Big time. Because wrong decisions have now been made about that sugar industry. Wrong promises that are forced to be kept, and they're trying to keep them, now causing a lot of misspending. And so today, they now want that disaffection and disenchantment and resentment within the sugar industry to placate to soften them up. All right, boss, I will go give him $250 additional severance payment. Once you get your severance payment and you're done, you're done. But don't call it severance payment. Jagdeo want to say that how it is reparative and it is giving back to sugar workers. When Jagdeo had closed down Diamond, one set of severance payments the Diamond workers got. Same thing at Tenmore and so on. And wheresoever in other sectors that he had retrenched and closed down. You can't go and double dip from the treasury to go and give double severance payment. You can't do that. If you want, you can say it's a kind of a relief. But he wants to play politics and in a way to explain why it is that present-day sugar workers, the 11,000 sugar workers that cotton cane right now, they mustn't get. So he wanted to make a distinction, a false distinction, by stating that we're going to give them severance pay to them people that, the 250, because them being get knocked off. Well, them being get their one. And so he wants to make that distinction to calm down them boys were now working in the estate. Well, them boys fired up because the message has been sent that that is not what you do. You cannot do that. If you're giving them people a relief, what happened to the hard working cane cutters now that they're
on my Facebook? Friends, today I am doing this video for my fellow workers to understand that the government of today is not for the working class people. I am saying this simply because all of us are aware that our official from the government yesterday or a few days ago make some announcement, and one of the announcements is to give the severance people maybe $250,000
severance payment to sugar workers. Why is it not giving severance payment to the public servants, 2,000 of them in half? Well, because of certain ethnic reasons? No. And sugar workers who are going to get it must also have a conscience and tell the PPP and GAU, boss, not only we must get, we're glad that we're going to get, but let other people get.
Mr. Ramjitan, some of the sugar workers who are currently working in the industry, they are complaining that this was not a promise made to them. You know, when the PPP came around campaign time, they had so much of promises about Gaisuku, and now they are coming there, not giving the sugar workers who are currently working $1, not improving their working conditions, but they are giving double dipping to these individuals.
Well,
so
good afternoon to all my Facebook friends. Today I am doing this video for my fellow workers to understand that the government of today is not for the working class people. I am saying this simply because all of us are aware that our official from the government yesterday or a few days ago make some announcement, and one of the announcements is to give the severance people maybe $250,000. I have no problem with those giving the severance people money, but my problem is these workers already receive all their benefits, and most of them are working in different estates. End of the day, I have a problem with that. Recently, the agriculture minister says that in order for this industry to survive, we need $1.6 billion. And if this is true, how come this official can come and give out money just like that? This is a problem. Mind you, we at Albion, our estate were under flood condition. Tremendously, workers are suffering at Albion. We can't warn as we ought to. And so this is a problem right now. For the longest while, we do not have a wage increase. And we believe that this announcement, all sugar workers supposed to benefit off of this announcement. And rightly, I am demanding now my $250,000 because all of us deserve this money right now. Thank you very much.
So that there is every right that sugar worker who talking there should get his 252.
And
Why
he's
are
just
you
one.
splitting them up? Yes,
He is just one. There are 11,000 of them who should get
exactly.
the 250,000.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it is discriminatory. It is very much discriminatory, but it is the politics playing out. Look, a lot of promises that the PPP talk and fool them same people that happen in other areas. You remember when we had done our thing about the salary increases? A lot of people cussed me down again, saying that we tried as best to get salary increases so that you're gonna make yourselves as consistent with what is happening around the Caribbean.
Correct.
And if you hear the Barajag deal them, and if you hear all them sugar workers there, look how them a thief for money. And Barajag, they say, I promise that we're gonna do away with all this increase. Them do away with any increase. Them do away with any increase. And the sugar workers would not say one thing. They never say nothing. Because, it's blind, fanatic kind of support. And although you got reasonable politicians thinking things through reasonable for the long term, for their own children's sake, you don't want them to go cut cane and so on. We're going to have to move them out and so on a little and wait until the oil monies come and when we're going to disburse oil monies to get a better train, education, vocational skills, this, that,
Exactly.
especially for the oil industry and so on. That is what we were doing. No, we open back all them thing there, the factory and so on, and put your picnic them forgot. They got cut cane now. Yeah, well, so they didn't keep their promises, a lot of the things they're promising. And they're fool people. Some of the biggest liars, as I have found out for a long, long time, is them same Jack Dew and them. The proper Kotak lie. 40 hotel go open in Guyana. So they're now distracting by their grander promises. 40 more hotel go open in Guyana. I mean, this COVID time alone teaches you that it's hardly likely. But that is how they open up the eyes of their supporters and nothing will happen. I mean, they don't even, so many other things. Like, take for example, the flood relief.
It's a big one.
What is a big corrupt set of things happened there? And Barbicians suffered COVID relief and the flood relief. Serious sufferation, boss.
Serious.
And they're saying that how them a fight fire. I better try to help the people because suffering happening on the ground. So we can have to go get relief. Well, they were not firefighting there. They were behaving like arsonists. Them would create the fire there on the ground there by corruption, big time corruption.
Yeah.
And all of that is being seen by the sugar workers and their supporters in Barbies, and they're getting problem with the people now. The people now
speaking
seeing
out.
them for what they are. Yeah. So
the people speak it out. During this flood relief, people receive payment and they had plant nothing, and they receive cash crop payment. And the neighbors talking, they're literally setting up the people against each other. The people now who genuinely suffer because of the flood and fill in a little form to get a 50,000 or 100,000, got nothing. And the people who relax and who is a friend with some PPP official got a 300,000 and a 500,000. And the people are literally busting up the bag in Region 6. Any area you look at that was severely affected by the flood, the people speaking out. They are saying, this lady got so much and she never planted any bygone, and this man got so much and none of the cow ever there. And the people are so much stressed and anger as to what really happening. And the PPP just come around and say two sweet words to them, and then them, Yeah.
Well,
So
they
the
must
thing is
now
that it
understand
is,
that.
yes, go
Go
ahead,
ahead, go
you
ahead.
go.
No, no, the thing that they must understand is that these sweet words will always come out of the PvP. Always. You need people who are going to make the hard decisions that are correct and right for the long-term interest of the country, the long-term Guyanese interest, and the interest of all, not just a sector. You understand me? And the sugar sector, like in the other Caribbean countries, doesn't have a future right
That's
now.
it.
Yeah. So,
Mr.
but
Ramjipan.
coming back to
But
this
we
thing
know,
about how they're gonna pay these people the monies and so on, it is well, you should make your point. I was
yeah, as,
trying to
as
say
I
what.
was saying, that there are a lot of individuals who are genuinely into the sugar estate, but their children having their CXC, their C-sex subjects, do not want to go into that route. That is why we are saying, let us go education route. Let their children get into the colleges and the technical aspect and so get themselves qualified. Your father cut cane and you cut in cane. You want your children to cut cane as well? Let us
That is what the
change
PvP
that.
want them to do.
You know,
That is
and,
exactly what
and
the PvP want them to do.
the
Cut cane
PvP
for
wants
all your life.
the PvP wants to manipulate them all the time. But we are
Exactly.
saying when your children get the 5, 6, 7 subject, they can go to the university, they can do a program, they can go to the training college, they can go to the police training college, and they can have a public service job. They can be empowered. But PvP do not want the poor people to be empowered to have education. They want them in the field, go cut cane, or go plant rice, or go do this. Keep them at a level that they can manipulate them at all
Okay.
costs. But what we are saying, you know how it is difficult to cut cane. We know that the plight the sugar workers going, and to have your children coming to that same cycle is very much detrimental to their survival.
But
You
it
know,
is in
so
keeping with the PPP's philosophy. Keep those people in that state of education. Cut cane, draw your salary, Friday go take a little liquor, and then you cut cane again next one. And then when elections come one Monday morning, then go vote PPP. That is it. That is a cycle. And they don't want people to, because when you start now transforming them out of sugar, they can mean that necessarily means that they'll have to be educated. And an educated class from that can start questioning the
question.
PPP.
That is what they are afraid of.
Questioning exactly. And that is what they're afraid of so much. They don't want them to be smart. Cut cane, man. You cut cane. And then they're going to get the Gao people to instruct them. And they are going to say, yes, all right. And we got to take that set of people out of their milieu. We have to take them out from that. And I believe, too, that the PPP will have to, especially that more concerned faction within its leadership. There is a faction that understands that this is craziness.
Crazy.
And they have to go and change that. But Jagdev is there. The other thing I've been telling Barbicians, Jagdev is not supposed to be there. 2 term is what he had. But the man now gone and fooling all of them. And he is literally in charge of this country. He's serving a 3rd term. But the Barbicians say, well, left him now. Left him. He good. Well, that is a lot of trash. Because in countries where you got term limits, Jagdev should go and pasture. But the man gone Dubai. Or where he gone? Ghana? Ghana, I think he gone. Yes.
Ghana.
So
Yeah.
this fella is still in charge. And
The other two is Dubai.
well, whatever. So one Bariat gone there and one Bariat Ghana. Good. So them chap this really, and them go sing probably there too. They're gonna sing Ghana. So
At the expense of taxpayers.
at the expense of the same sugar workers out there. The same sugar workers. And this is what the whole thing, the setup is. And whenever there is a problem anyway, he is the one that will come and make the announcement that I will make sure that you get your $250,000. And then that is how he plays God. That is what dictators do. They start their things like that, and then I be one Barajag. They here, Albion, I be no one, nobody else. I mean, Irfan. I want Bharat Jagdeo. And then the thing culturizes and what you call and idolizes this leader that then creates a personality cult around him. And he enjoys that. He enjoys that. But Barbicians, especially our East Indian, they must understand that this cult personality must come to a halt. The right decision for your children's future must be made. And
Exactly.
don't bank on this fella because he gonna create problems and then come up with a solution because he's like the de facto president. And then I go say, oh God, and what is the Pandit word? They go surha vedima. And that is how it is straight out of the dictator's handbook when you watch this fella operate. And you know, they go on to drive fear in you, drive fear in me, try to charge me, find people who can make all kind of false allegation, like he wants to now charge Winston Jordan, who did a fantastic job. Only the other day I was reading Taran Kemraj, who was commending what we did in our 5 years. But nobody will highlight that. Not even some of the independent press will want to highlight that. But we did what we did after 23 years of PPP misgovernance in the country. I'm not saying that we didn't make mistakes, but you got to make hard decisions because you get a 5-year term. What is good for the country? If you had the right size sugar, well, you got to right size it. Make the decision. Okay, will we pay the penalties? Some of the sugar workers get vexed with me. But what is right for sugar workers? Cut cane again? Your next generation? Well, okay, you got him now. Let you go and reduce the salary. Then when they get 396,000, we raise it to 800,000, almost double it. Okay, well, let them reduce them back now. Them is the people say they're going to reduce them. They're going to reduce anything. They're going to get Bahariat to go Ghana and go Dubai. Most expensive city in the world, Dubai. Yeah, that is where they got.
Mr. Ramjitan, would you like to touch a little bit on the flood relief, all the allegations as it
Well,
relates
I
to
think I've touched on it, Pandit. Look, when we had passed that budgetary allocation of $10 billion to go towards flood relief, you were there in Parliament. We had made the pronouncement that we would like that this thing be done properly. Properly. So everybody that will get monies, it must be digitized, computerized the name. Kemraj Ramjatan, he last 40 acre rice or he get 10 heads of cattle, he collect $800,000 and you're going to put it down there. And so that we now in Parliament will know, because we parliamentarians pass the $10 billion. So all of them people inside of the Region 6 there that collect money, we digitize it and we're going to put them on our website, whatever, the flood relief website. So we're going to know if it is 6,000 people get money, each 6,000, the name, the address, and a little note that they say the house and the donkey and whatever, there, the house destroyed and the donkey died or the sheep died, whatever. And so you get we beg them to do it that way. They might not do nothing like that.
They are afraid to do that because they know what will come out.
And this is the age of computer. We could have taken some of them cane cutter children that know how to handle this computer, and they could have walked with them and get the thing done. Them children are very good with computers. But they don't want that. They don't want that. Them gone and give some PPP officials to go
1,400 of them.
1,400
of them across the country.
We should get all of that inside of the computer. Who was the 1,400? Their names, how much money they collected as administrative cost. You would see the thing is a payback for all the nasty thing they do the last elections and in the campaign. One where they stop Kiara Road and tell them that how they got to vote PPP. They terrorize some people too. All of that we're hearing. As Minister of Public Security, I heard it. Why don't you pay too much attention with it? Because you want the thing to be done quickly. But all of that. And so they're doing the payback for their 1,400 activists and all of that. And that is what will bring a country down. Because there is no integrity in the statistics that we could now challenge. But the people see for themselves on the ground that Garahare na plant nothing, and he get $1.4 million. How he get? And me there, me a whole garden knocked down, and me not get nothing. What is the justice about it? And I am begging my Barbicians citizens, come out openly and talk about it. When you keep it inside, more violence will happen. Silence is violence. Silence is violence. Come out and talk like that cane cutter fella that come out there. And it is very important that this being known. And up to now, it can still be done. Because as Shadow Minister of Agriculture now, I could ask them who and who get monies and how much they get.
Exactly. Well,
and who and who are the thief men? Who and who are the fraudsters? Yeah.
They have to come clean with that. The next time we sit in Parliament, that is what we're going to ask for. Itemized. Village after village, region after village, region. Everybody's name must be published here. And then we're going to expose the massive fraud. Some people calling from Blackbush that there are some individuals who receive money twice, 2 different locations, you know, and people literally exposing what really happened. You know, people are very much bitter as to the open amount of fraud that is happening with this whole flood saga.
People are becoming conscious now.
That's it. And the good work the opposition doing in terms of educating the people is bearing fruit. So we know that, you know, people are listening and good sense will prevail. But we want our Barbician to take note that we depend so much, we have worked so much in terms of in the field. But do you want your children to toil and suffer the same way you did? Or you want your child or your children to have a decent job, a job that rain and sun aga beat them and wet them, you know? Or you want your child to, you know, be exposed to all the elements of nature out there. Things are going differently. Guyana is a very wealthy country. And if we forward think in terms of the future, what will happen, then our children will have a better life in this place. But if we hold on to the, okay, my child, as soon as the child born, you say, all right, you got to take a 22. What are we doing to that child's future? We are the largest producer of oil in this part of the world. And, you know, we are still pushing that all our children, you know, get to the field. This is not the way for us to go. You are far more experienced in terms of politics and academics. And you need to, you know, say as it is. The people need to understand.
That is what my life inside of the PPP when I was there was saying the same thing. That a lot of things this fella, especially my problem was with Jagdeo. I mean, Chedi and Janet was there, and I had problems ideologically with Janet and changed the party's constitution or attempt to change it, managed to change it successfully with PYO, remove communism and all that trash, Marxist Leninism and all of that, and so on, and ask for a more liberal democratic order, free and fair elections, the rule of law, and things that I was trained for at law school. But they didn't want that. And as soon as the 2 dragons closed their eyes, might expel me. And I warned people like Ralph Ramkaran and Moses Nagamutu that they go come for you too. And they came, that same fella, knocked the 2 big bosses out there. People inside of Barbados must remember that. That generation that is coming up, they know about all these things. And you were telling them all of these things. And that this fella wants like to be a dictator. And when he lose the case of the Caribbean Court of Appeal that he can't run a term, man, the fella then do a bypass. So you can't get at the heart like that, of the matter like that. He do a bypass. And now he put up Irfan Ali. Remember people like Vindi and Frank Anthony and Anil Nandalal, they getting more votes. But you tell them, step aside. I want my buy. The same reparative buy. And here get orgasms rather than talking about organisms. Now, this is the kind of quality we're talking about. And it is hopelessly wrong. And then also to instruct people now to get at people like Paul Slow to get at so many other people instead of the Environmental Protection Agency, one of the biggest and most important statutory body that a country can have. Knock them off, send them back to America. Although he was working as third in charge in Barack Obama's, and now we got people cutting down mangrove, flaring happening in a bigger way, and all kind of thing. This is what we're gonna suffer from. And then the crime situation, boss. The crime situation has gotten totally out of hand. Under our administration, we managed to get that thing under control, contain all these policemen. So much of look, right now, this youngster get murdered the other day. All kinds of people getting murdered, an execution style. I hope that piracy and start back in the quarantine there. But all had come down. We had worked hard to professionalize that police force. But there is blood all around Guyana now. And what is the president doing? Gets one plane and gone first class, Barriat, Ghana.
Dubai.
And the rest gone at Dubai.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, let me say thanks very much. I'm glad to be in your program. Like to make my points there, and you gave me an opportunity to make quite a lot of points here this evening. Thanks to you, and thanks to Mark Benchcott. Take care.
Thank you very much for affording me the opportunity to invite you. And so thank you very much, viewers. It has always been a privilege and an honor to have you guys on 107.1 FM. Coming right after this program is Straight Up with Mark Benchop and guest Apostle London. Please stay tuned, and more information coming to you. So thank you very much, 107.1 listeners, viewers everywhere on the ground in Guyana, Caribbean diaspora. Thank you very much. Please continue to share our word, share the message, so that we can be able to touch more individuals. This is the time that we need to infiltrate the minds of our brothers and sisters so that they will become right-thinking citizens. All of us need to condition our mind so that we will be able to think for the betterment for ourselves and our children. Remember, we are working pretty hard, and we know that our children, we do not want our children to work so hard like us. So it means that we have to put proper systems in place so that they will have a good life. So thank you very much. Happy Human Nabi to all our Guyanese, and may you have a productive week. See you next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thank you very much. God bless.
This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them jug lam.